Evening, friends. Ash here, WAT News. It's December the 1st, and I wanted to cover some of the Michigan hearings that went on today, the 1st, and I believe yesterday. I think they went on, or was it today, actually? This is the testimony of Melissa Carrone. She's a Dominion, she's a Dominion voting systems contractor, and she's going to drop some bombshells at the Michigan hearing today. So let's check her testimony out. I got it queued up right here.
Next we have Melissa Carrone, followed by James Danley, followed by Bobby Tenorio. Ms. Carrone, welcome to the Senate Oversight Committee.
Hi,
you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Melissa Carrone. I am a resident of Wayne County. I have a background in IT and cybersecurity. I was contracted by PDS staffing to work with Dominion Voting Systems, assisting with IT at the TCF Center. I started work at 6 a.m. on November 3rd, and I worked until 5 a.m. on November 4th. I returned to work at 10 a.m. November 4th and worked until 2 p.m. November 4th. I was initially supposed to return back to work around 4, but I was told via text through one of the other Dominion workers named Samuel that I wasn't needed, that they were almost finished counting. I wasn't going to mention this, being that it has been mentioned numerous times. I'm going to. I was initially supposed to be working. I was initially supposed to be working at the Department of Elections. That was an order from Dominion Voting Systems. They told me that I would be parking in a parking lot and I would be shuttled in through a shuttle. I called my mother and I told my mother about this, and my mom said, no, absolutely not. You're not doing that. I also had a concern about that because I do have two small young children at home and I needed access to my vehicle. What I witnessed at the TCF Center was complete fraud. The whole 27 hours I was there, there was batches of ballots being ran through the tabulating machines numerous times, being counted 8 to 10 times. I watched this with my own eyes. I was there to assist with IT. These people on night shift, I had 4 people on night shift that I've known. One of them I've known for over 20 years. He approached me and said he had absolutely zero training whatsoever, contradicting 100% what Daniel Baxter claims, that they had so much training. He said they had zero. I watched. These people had no idea what they were doing. Okay. Also, the adjudication process, I witnessed numerous people walking up, claiming they were both Democrats, saying they were sitting together, judging ballots all day together. I witnessed it all. I was on the main stage with all of the city officials. Daniel Baxter was in on the whole thing, and I am under the impression 100% that at least 90% of those workers were all in on this. There was not a single ballot the whole night, the whole 27 hours I was there, that I saw that was for Donald Trump. Not one. Not a single ballot. That is scary.
Wow.
There is no reason for that. Also, I'm going to say that there was something going on at that Department of Elections, and it's clearly something that's very illegal that occurred there, and I am grateful to God that I did not go there.
Thank you. So, Vice Chair Lucido has a question.
Sure.
You were employed by whom to do what?
Okay, so I am a freelance IT worker.
Okay.
I was employed by PDS, P as in Paul, D as in David, S as in Sam, staffing, to assist with IT work for Dominion.
At the software company.
Dominion Voting Systems, correct. I was with Nick Atanamagis. He's my manager.
I apologize, but this is very... Why did they feel that they needed to have assistance there for the software?
So a couple people have asked me the same question. I cannot answer that. These people were very secretive, and I will say that these people were very, very secretive and just really pushy. When I never did I ever admit I was a Republican to these people. The comments that they were making were disgusting.
Regardless of Republican, Democrat, Independent, Green, it doesn't matter. I'm getting right to the heart of it. What was the instated purpose that the software company needed to have the assistance of support staff for IT?
I believe that it was because Nick and Samuel, that are permanent employees of Dominion, Nick is a part owner, that they had to be together on the stage working together, so it looked like they had assistance with IT. Now, I was also not allowed to wear a badge or tell anybody who I was working with.
That's fine. So, your opinion that it was them that needed to be there, you don't know anything if it was contractual, you don't know if there was anything that was going glitchy, which means that there was...
Oh, I know of a lot of stuff that...
But my question is, factually, which means today, as you sit here, is there anything you can tell us that was happening with the software where Nick and Samuel had to go assist in this?
Absolutely.
What was that?
Okay, so Samuel was missing for about 3 hours. When he returned, I said, "Where were you?" He said, "I was at the warehouse." I said, "Where's this warehouse?" And I said, "Is it an Amazon warehouse? I don't know. What kind of warehouse is it, right?" And he said, "We call it the Chicago warehouse." And I said, "Okay, so it's in Chicago?" Because they're from Colorado. I said, "So it's in Chicago?" And he said, "No, Melissa, it's in Detroit. We call it the Chicago warehouse." I said, "Okay," and I just walked away. But there was something very secretive that he was doing. There was also they said a big data loss right before they sent Samuel to this warehouse.
What time was that?
That was when Samuel went to the warehouse. That was approximately, it was in the afternoon. I believe it was around 2 or 3.
Is that on the 3rd or the 4th?
The 3rd.
Thank you. I'm okay. You have written testimony for the chair?
I have my
And the
second
committee?
affidavit, and I have what I was speaking off of just
Could you
now.
send that to us, please?
Absolutely.
Include your phone number if you could, in case we
Absolutely.
have questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Before you go, please.
Sure.
I have a question. When you testify about ballots being counted multiple times, what are you basing that analysis that they were counted multiple times?
Okay. So, I'm sorry. So the tabulating machines, when a ballot jams, it puts up an error. It'll say discard or recount. So when it puts up that error, when a jam occurs, the correct way to go about it is to discard the whole batch, take the ones that have already been tabulated, put them back into a pile, put the one that jammed on top, and then discard the whole thing, and then rescan them. They were not discarding. So they were just rescanning, counting ballots 8 to 10 times. Just recounting them. They had absolutely no idea what they were doing.
So you're saying that they were literally opening up the box, taking the ballots back out of the box, and then sending them through again?
No. They
Okay.
were just taking...
I want to be clear on this.
Okay, so when a ballot was... When the error came up on the PC in front of them, and it said that a jam occurred, I would go try, because it happened so many times in the 27-hour period. Each machine, it did it between 2 and 3 times an hour. So, because these were folded ballots, they're mail-in ballots. So, when it occurred, and then it threw up the error, discard, rescan, as I just stated, you are supposed to take the problem ballot that got jammed, put it on top of the whole pile, discard it, because that's why the option is there. If you do not discard it, it is recounting it. So they would take the ones that were already, say ballot number 25 had an issue. you had already went through 24 ballots. So you're going to put them back all in a pile and you're just going to rescan it. So it's counting those 24 again instead of discarding those 24 and restarting.
Oh, but that's what I was trying to ask. I mean, so they're literally taking.
Did I answer correctly?
You're saying that they're taking ballots that already went through the machine, taking them and scanning them a second time.
That's absolutely what I said. Yes.
So help me understand, because I haven't worked
What's
in
not
AP
to
county.
understand? They're putting them through again, you idiot.
I've been to my precinct, and when our ballots go into the tabulator, there's no access to them after they're accepted. I mean, they go into a sealed box.
Oh
There's
no,
access
these
to
ones.
them.
No, I've heard that too from other states that they do drop directly into
Right.
a steel box. No, the steel boxes were behind them, which I could say a lot about that too, but I won't. But they were using those for barriers for the poll watchers, so they couldn't get close. The steel boxes, but no, they were 100% in the counters' hands. This whole process, they were allowed to do whatever they wanted to do. Nick, and Samuel that worked for Dominion, they were on the stage. They had a contract employee, me, and another one that was from Texas. I have his name right here, Miles Smiley, 90-year-old man there to assist with IT work. He did not have any kind of background in IT and worked in and lived in Tennessee. So this man was just walking around aimlessly. You know, I was really the only one running around like crazy helping these people.
Thank you for that clarification. I'm not aware that it.
No, and they were
the
responsible.
The machines I've been exposed to don't work that same way, so I was just checking in on it. Senator Tice.
This guy I don't trust.
I'm trying to figure out the whole
On the
line
right
of everything
side.
here. So you were trained to work with the equipment and the tabulators themselves,
Correct.
and they were going to send you to the Department of Elections?
Initially, that is
So
where
do
I
they
was
have-
scheduled.
Tabulators at the Department of Elections?
That's the main question here, huh?
Boom. Boom.
Because I was trained on the tabulation and adjudication process, and how many people just came up before me stating that they saw people walking in and out of that Department of Elections with ballots. As I stated, I was not supposed to even talk about this today,
And
but
then
I'm going
as
to.
they're scanning, they have a pile of them. They're putting them through a scanner, and the pile, once it's gone through the scanner, is still fully accessible to the person
Absolutely.
who's doing the count.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
They could scan them 50 times if they wanted to.
Any other members have a question? Senator Lucido?
Yeah,
Senator.
this is interesting. You were trained to oversee tabulators. Is that what you told us?
I was trained to assist with IT
In tabulators.
and the adjudication process, correct, sir?
Who trained you to use
Dominion.
your technique on the tabulators as it relates to the IT?
Dominion.
Dominion did. Was it their representatives that came to the TCF center?
It was the owner of Dominion, Nick Economagnis, that came to the TCF Center, which is extremely insane because he's like the top of the top with Dominion, which is he's missing.
When
he's
did
gone.
you meet with them at the TCF center to get your training?
Okay, so my training was in Allen Park at the hotel they were staying at, right off of Southfield Freeway. It was November 2nd for 1 hour.
The day before the elections.
November 2nd, correct.
The day
sir.
before the election.
Yes, sir.
1 hour training. Was it done by video or was it done with a tabulator?
It was done with a tabulating machine and an adjudication machine in a room, in a conference room, and all we did was walk around it and nothing. We were given a binder. I have it right here from Dominion about all their image cast, about how their software works. I have every Dominion employee here. I have the ones that were at
How many were with
the
you
warehouse.
in this? How many?
5 total.
5 total.
2 contract employees, 3 permanent employees of Dominion. Let me just say this. There was 1 permanent employee of Dominion. She went by the name of Danielle. Her real name was China, which she told me later. She's the one who told me Nick was a part owner, which was confirmed later on. She was acting very bizarre the whole night, would start crying, would start saying she couldn't handle being there. I saw the van come in at 4:30 full of ballots. That she left an hour before that, had someone pick her up.
Thank you.
Chairman, as long as we get her testimony, I would be intrigued to look at whatever you have
Absolutely.
through the chair.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I have another question for you, ma'am. Please. Vice Chair Irwin has a question. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If I were to take a ballot, an absentee ballot, and I were to run that through a machine multiple times, and that ballot were to be counted multiple times, is that machine going to reflect those votes in the vote total at the end of the day? And is that ballot going to be recorded in the poll book 8 times or something? I mean, what's the...
Why do you think the poll books were so off?
Well, they were off a little bit less than they were in previous elections. So unless your allegation is that
they were off 100%.
Excuse me, members of the audience, please respect the.
Sorry, I mean, you asked me a
witness
question.
and
What do you expect the answer to
I was
be?
hoping for an answer, but I don't think I'm gonna get one.
Excuse me. I couldn't hear what was going on because too many people talking over each other. So if you could please, Mr.
Sure.
Vice Chair, finish your line of questioning. I'd like to hear the end of it, please.
That was the end of it. There was just one question, which was that, you know, if this were to happen, it would show up in the tabulations being off. And we know...
They were off.
Do we know to what extent that they're off?
They were off.
Right, yeah, we know that.
So why are you asking? What are you asking me?
I'm trying to ask you if
Sir,
someone were to...
Go ahead.
If someone were to go and run the same ballot over and over and over again, that would end up showing up as a massive discrepancy, right?
Did
We've added up the
somebody took a ballot
discrepancies.
and ran it over and over and over again?
You
Just
did-
one ballot? Or a batch of 50?
Either way, I mean, the batch of 50 is going to be
If you
even
take
more.
one and you run it over and over and over again, yeah, people are going to notice that one has been ran over and over. I had numerous challengers come up to me and say, "What's going on here?" One guy got thrown out because he took a picture of me.
Sure, I'm just wondering why the numbers at the end of the day aren't matching up with the stories that we're hearing. I'm trying to square that circle, and I know there's going to be an investigation of all of
Your question is
these
as good as everybody
allegations.
else's in here.
Yeah, there's
Why
going to be an
isn't it-
investigation
why
of all
isn't it
this, and we're
matching
going to
up?
look into all
It's
these
not
details.
matching up.
Ma'am,
Everything
ma'am.
that happened at that TCF center was fraud.
Ma'am.
Every single thing. Every avenue was
Excuse me.
taken to commit it.
Please. Appreciate your passion, but he feels his question was answered. Appreciate that. I do have one additional follow-up.
Sure.
You mentioned observing ballots arriving
Yes, sir.
late. Do you have knowledge of where they came from?
I cannot say that for 100%. I do not know 100%.
Okay.
Do I assume where they came from? Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Senator McDonald, thank you.
I'll be brief. Your testimony was very compelling. So I just want to go back to what I asked Senator Colbeck. Where is the Department of Justice in this? I mean, without arresting it, I mean, are they even looking into it? I mean, your testimony is unbelievably compelling. So I'm just wondering, where are they?
Okay. Your question is as good as mine. So I did call the FBI on November 5th, and
Okay.
I spoke with a woman for at least 40 minutes. The phone disconnected. She had all my information. She never called me back. I had to call them back. I haven't been contacted back since.
Well, you would think that, did you contact anybody from the Trump campaign?
Oh yeah. I've been
Wouldn't they
talking-
have a pipeline to the Department of Justice? I mean,
I've been talking to attorneys. What I said just now regarding the Department of Elections and how I was scheduled to work there, that is coming out. That is coming out. That will be coming out next week. There's a lot coming. I was not even supposed to talk about that, but a lot of people mentioned it. So you know what? I'm going to tell you guys about it because this is fraud.
okay.
And there was fraudulent activity occurring there.
Thank you. Your testimony was excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, ma'am, for being here. Next, we have
Wow, that's a bombshell. I took some notes down about what she was talking about. By the way, AG Barr is nowhere to be found yet, right? A.G. Barr came out and said there's no evidence of voter fraud that would change the outcome of the 2020 election. So, what exactly has the Justice Department done to investigate? Barr claimed that the FBI has followed up on specific complaints of voter fraud, yet they have uncovered no evidence that would change the outcome. To date, we have not seen fraud on a scale that could have affected a different outcome in the election. If you heard what this young lady, Miss Carrone, said, she said that she was tasked at first to count ballots at the department, at the Board of Elections, and they're not supposed to have counting machines there. So why are you counting? Is somebody counting votes in the Department of Elections in the state of Michigan, which is not where it's supposed to be done? The other thing that struck me is she said that in 27 hours working in this place, that she never saw one ballot that was for Donald Trump, not one. And I would think that that would be statistically impossible unless you're locked in a room in the back somewhere, then you're only watching a computer and you don't see any ballots. And that doesn't sound like the case in this woman's instance, because she was moving around, and she said also she made the allegation that they counted multiple ballots more than one time, groups of ballots more than once. So it seemed to me that the other people were trying to say that what she was saying was wrong, because the voter rolls, the books weren't off that much or as much as they had been in the past. But that's not what we're hearing. We're hearing 130 or 40,000 votes showed up in the middle of the night in places. So I don't know. We'll have to see how this all plays out. But it seems to me that, and to be honest, I never trusted Barr. I always thought he was a deep state player. He goes back to the Bush era. And I never trusted him. I never trusted Ray. I always thought he was a deep state plant too. And I think why Trump puts these people in there is to expose them eventually, or to, or he's already shown them the dirt that they have on them, and he's just a willing participant. And in the meantime, will also expose himself in the end and go down. I don't know that about Barr yet. We'll have to see, but he's not doing anything that I thought he would do. Let's just put it that way. And Ray has just been a total loss. I don't know what he's done. He was supposed to reform the FBI, but he just seems to be there to cover it all up. He seems to be to me like another Comey, unless I totally misread it, so I don't know. But A.G. Barr has appointed John Durham special counsel to probe origins of Russia collusion investigation. So it says here, Barr appointed Durham as special counsel on October 19th, but told Congress this week. So this is breaking news. William Barr has appointed John Durham as special counsel to continue investigating the origins of the Russia collusion probe, according to multiple news outlets. But like, where's Huber, right? Where's this guy's report? You've been doing this over a year and a half with a huge staff. Why haven't you reported on anything? Why hasn't there only been one? You know, it's just unbelievable. Here's the Project Veritas claims it's been secretly recording Jeff Zucker. They're going to bring the whole corrupt temple down on his head, and he deserves it. I really hope he gets his just desserts in this, because he deserves it more than a lot of people. He's been one of the biggest problems of false news and fake news coming out, and that whole network should just be shut down or reorganized. I don't know if it could even be saved at this point. You saw a lot of the mainstream news lose their, like Fox, right? They're getting crushed in the ratings now all of a sudden. I saw a big article about it. Where was that article? Trump legal team slams Barr comments on voter fraud. There hasn't been any semblance of a DOJ investigation. Postal subcontractor was told over 100,000 ballots in Wisconsin were gathered on November 4th and backdated. There's the Dominion young lady. Blows up Michigan hearing. They were rescanning, counting ballots 8 to 10 times. So I'm going to get this up, guys. I appreciate you watching my vids, and I'm going to report back soon with more news. This is Ash, WAT News, signing off.